so easy. It's something a monkey could do. Kick back, grab a snack, ride monkey reviews.
Alright, kooks and spooks of all ages, but preferably adults because I like to say the word fuck a lot. Your favorite monkey incubus, Brad Boucher, is here to drop some cartoon knowledge. Whether it's a matter of coincidence or convenience, it seems that I've been tasked with reviewing an epic fantasy series on one of our most epic and fantastical holidays. How fitting. The story of Dragon Prince starts long ago when humans lived in harmony with dragons and elves in the magical land of Zadia.
But everything changed when the humans decided to be douchebags. Only the Dragon Egg, master of all plot devices, could end the ensuing war. But with the world being assumptive about its destruction, all hope vanished. Years later, a child, an uwu small boy, and a slamming hottie rediscover the Dragon Egg, and although their magic skills are great, they have a lot to learn before they're ready to save anyone.
Okay, that's enough. Look, I'd love to talk about how much this series is just like Avatar: The Last Airbender, because to be fair, there is a lot of overlap between them. I mean, come on, they both share some cast members, they both have a fantasy world divided by nations, they both have elemental magic, and they both have unreasonably attractive characters. Alright guys, I have a new character design that'll really knock your socks off. A tough girl who uses her physical disability as an advantage in combat. She'll be a shining beacon of inclusivity and inspiration for—
Can you it?
Excuse me?
Can you it?
No, she's a draw.
Who needs
But these similarities to Avatar have already been discussed to death by YouTube's same old circle jerk of cartoon nerds who all share the same complaints about Dragon Prince.
2D animation wasn't, in my opinion, an essential part of what made Avatar, but good animation was, and early on the Dragon Prince didn't quite have it. Bad CGI. Action scenes, though well choreographed, looked choppy, characters could be a bit on the derpy side in very important moments, and in general the series was rife with small but noticeable reminders of its artificiality. Bad CGI.
The onslaught of lazy animation seen in Teen Titans Go, Boss Baby, Uncle Grandpa, etc. makes it difficult to trust that producers even care about what they're making anymore. Because of this, we approach new Western media cautiously. Paired with a lack of interesting composition was the big oof, the lowered frame rate. Everyone who watched the show noticed this major flaw right away.
It's no secret how hard we are on 3D animation. While there are certainly shows that do the medium justice, this wasn't it, Chief.
Much as I enjoy the spectacle of this world and its animation, except for the random choppiness and character movement at the beginning of episode 5, what the hell happened there?
With the resulting motion feeling incredibly stilted and several moments showcased front and center in the trailer just looking bad.
Lucky for you, your favorite demon monkey is here to do the opposite by discussing this topic with
No Avatar comparisons, no major plot spoilers, and an actual animation critique!
Dragon Prince is its own show with its own charm, and from here on out, I will be treating it as such. You're welcome. What intrigues me about Dragon Prince's story is that it's divided into two significant parts, a journey and a chess game, and each influences the other through an A and B plot in each episode. On one hand, we're given a good old-fashioned trio of good guys who are on a quest to save the world. Prince Ezrin, his half-brother Callum, and an elf named Rayla.
Don't let me interrupt.
Oh, that accent is killing me in a good way. They all have the same goal of ending the war between humans and magical creatures, but since these dudes are from opposing kingdoms, they have to conceal their identities and protect each other from their own kind throughout the process. This builds more tension as you go further into the series since you never really know who's gonna be their friend or a foe. Between Ezrin's connection to animals, Callum's magic, and Rayla's fighting expertise, each character has the means to deal with conflict in their own way. If you've ever played an RPG or D&D or I don't know, even fucking Gauntlet or something, this kind of party will be familiar to you. But since they're typically outnumbered, they often have to avoid fights and rely on their wits instead. Results may vary. At first, their ideals and personalities clash, but as they progress, our trio begins to feel more like a family and even starts to develop their own inside jokes.
Get ready to meet Human Rayla!
Yeah, I'm not sure that's gonna cut it.
With my perfect human impression, the illusion will be complete. Greetings, fella humans, human fellas. I sure do like hanging out with other humans. Hello again, fella humans. Human fellas, let's go judge and criticize things other humans do, and then do the exact same thing ourselves.
Oh my Dow, stop being so freaking cute! There's also this weird gecko-looking thing named Bait. What does he do? Nothing. Yeah, he's just used for exposition, really. Whenever characters need to think about something or talk to themselves without looking crazy to the viewer, that's where Bait comes in. Meanwhile, in the B-plot, we see what Ezran and Callum's friends and relatives are doing back at the human kingdom of Katalis. And it's here where we're introduced to the villains of the series, Lord Viren and his two children, Claudia and Soren. Strangely, these aren't your run-of-the-mill bad guys, and they're not always in direct opposition to our heroes either. Viren and our heroes both had the same goal, to end the war, but Viren would rather end it through violent victory instead of peaceful diplomacy. This is what drives him to slowly become more greedy and unhinged further down the line, and it's what spurs his interest in dark magic, aka the only kind of magic that humans have access to, apparently. The characters on each side start off as inverses to one another, but soon you'll find that they start to influence each other's decisions, and that's where all sorts of character development finds its roots. And there you have it. Ezran, Callum, and Rayla go on a hero's journey but constantly find themselves questioning whether or not they're worthy of the task. Meanwhile, Viren is playing chess in the background by using the people around them as pawns to impede their progress. That is the basic foundation for the plot. I'm not gonna say any more because there's so many twists and turns and almost anything I say beyond this point will spoil something. Oh, baby, that is just really distracting. Oh, what the hell? Why do we keep getting these picture-perfect characters and twisted up adventure stories, huh? Well, one look at the show's creators and you'll know. Prior to Dragon Prince, Aaron spent years giving us doe-eyed, lovable Avatar babes and bros. Meanwhile, Justin Richmond over here was over at Naughty Dog directing video games featuring rugged action heroes with puppy dog eyes and booty-poppin' deuteragonists. Well, somehow some psycho at Netflix saw this and thought it'd be a good idea to let these two guys work together, and after seeing the results, I've got a few questions for the folks over at Netflix.
Now all of YouTube knows you're horny.
You know, all that considered, how did these two meet each other anyway?
Justin Richmond, you're from the video game industry, but now you're making animated works.
That's right. Aaron and I met at Riot Games.
I'm gonna let someone smarter go down that rabbit hole. I'm just here for Dragon Prince, man. If you're wondering who might have developed this offbeat 3D art style, then look no further than Edison Yan. You might know him for his work on Puss in Boots or several video games, but I prefer to think of him as the lead concept artist for Stormhawks. Hell yeah! And surprisingly, that's the most similar thing I can find to Dragon Prince's art style on his resume. Then there's this dude, Vlads Spangsberg, the supervising director who worked on... Really? Let's move on. Alright, I've saved the real meat and potatoes for last this time, because I've got some shit to say about this. You know what I'm really tired of?
Bad CGI.
Lazy animations.
And choppiness and
Just looking bad.
Bad CGI.
Yeah, that. Maybe it's a pet peeve, maybe it's Maybelline, I don't fucking know, but I take some umbrage with the concept of bad animation. Mainly because it's the most non-descriptive, unhelpful critique you can give to a show, and galaxy brains all over the internet say this shit constantly. I don't even know how to explain what bad animation is because there's no standard definition for it. Yeah, there are aspects of animation that can be screwy, like anatomy or fluidity, proportions, application of the 12 principles, clarity, etc. But all of these concepts can be and are adjusted to suit an animation's style. Animation can be choppy or smooth. Anatomy can be consistent or variable. And just because a studio makes a choice between one of these, that doesn't make the animation inherently bad. So when people say Dragon Prince's animation is bad, my eyes roll so hard that I could swear they just popped a molly. However, I know what they're trying to say. Typically with 3D animation, models and rigs move between coordinates in a smooth way. But recently, many studios have taken to animating 3D characters in the same way that they animate 2D characters. In other words, frame by frame. So the model will just snap between poses every 1 to 2, 3 frames in the same way that drawings snap between poses every 1 to 3 frames. This is not inherently bad animation. We've seen this technique utilized in all sorts of Eastern shows, and we've even seen it in the West via the groundbreaking film Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse, an awesome breakdown of which can be seen over on Howard Wimhurst's channel. I will link that shit below. But while these incredible creations use 3D keyframes to their advantage, the first few episodes of Dragon Prince do fall short when utilizing this technique. Why? It's not the frame rate, it's not the art style, it's not the anatomy, and it's not bad animation. It's because there's not enough frames overall. For example, one of the most jarring scenes I noticed was when Ezrin opens and closes a grate. A very simple action, yes, but when there's only a few frames showing this action, it looks so choppy that your eyes can't make sense of it, and it ends up causing some discomfort. If you can deal with that issue early on in the series and stick with it regardless, then you will be rewarded with a much smoother animation style in later episodes. And I would hate for you to miss out on an awesome series just because of a little choppiness in the beginning. In this era of remakes, reboots, and re-releases that all tout the same brand of style and substance, I am grateful that the creators of Dragon Prince decided to try their hand at something new, even if it took them a little bit to find their sea legs and get it right. They brought us a different kind of fantasy with different character personalities, and they delivered it with a different animation style. Even though what Dragon Prince offers isn't perfect by any means, it's certainly a fresh take on an old-fashioned story, and well worth the watch. So, until next time, I'm Brad Boucher, and this has been a Brad Monkey Review. Stay scary, sweeties.